meeting.
And then there is the President of the Republic of South Africa. You see that?
I see that.
Do you know who was the president as at the date of this memorandum?
At the date of this memorandum, the President of the Republic of South Africa was Mr. Jacob Zuma.
Do you know whether he received this memorandum?
His office did confirm receipt of the memorandum.
Then lastly, the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, who occupied that office at that point in time. I mean, 22nd April 2016.
It was Mr. Kgalema Motlanthe, and his office did confirm receipt of the letter.
Yes. There are some aspects of this memorandum that I'd like to deal with, if you permit me, Chair.
I'm sorry. Did you say the Deputy President of South Africa was Mr. Motlanthe
Motlanthe, yes, Chairperson.
in 2016?
I believe it was, yes. Could be wrong.
Didn't we have an election in 2014 and there was a new Deputy President?
Can you reflect on
You
that?
want to reflect?
Let me reflect on the dates again, Chairperson. I think it was.
There was a general election in South Africa in 2014.
Yes.
Can I reflect? I think my memory is escaping me a little bit.
Okay, you can come back to it in due course.
There's the first installment you owe to the chairperson. So, market installment number 1. Chair, with your permission, can I canvass aspects of this memorandum that I believe to be important? Mr. Maseko,
Thank you.
look at the first paragraph of that memorandum.
Yeah.
Can you read into the record what is said there?
I'm sorry, Mr. Maleka. This memorandum doesn't have a heading. In page 79, it's referred to as Annexure A.
Yes.
It might be convenient that we give it some name, whether we call it memorandum or Annexure A, so that it might be easier to identify it.
Yes.
Shall we just say Annexure A, maybe?
Yes,
Or what
Chair.
do you suggest?
Chair, can we refer to it as the documents describe it as Annexure A?
You want us to write all of that document described as Annexure A, or you want us to just say Annexure A?
Yes, Chair, I would prefer that it should be Annexure A to the press statement.
To the press statement starting at page 75.
Indeed.
So we'll say Annexure A to, just say to press statement, because it comes immediately after the press statement
Indeed.
and is referred to as Annexure A, so that should be enough. So we'll refer to it as Annexure A to the press statement.
Yes, Chair.
Thank you. You got that, Mr. Maseko?
I got it, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, I take it that I have permission to canvass some of the contents of this Annexure A, which I consider to be relevant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Maseko, I invited you to start by reading the first paragraph of Annexure A.
Annexure A, paragraph 1 reads as follows, Chairperson. We, the undersigned, are former Directors General in the post-apartheid South African government, with a prior history in the liberation struggle, where we served as cadres of Umkhonto we Sizwe, officials of the African National Congress, Azanian People's Organization, the Pan-Africanist Congress, and various organizations of the most democratic movement.
Can I stop you there and ask you to clarify the following for me? Why was the signatory to this document confined to the former Directors General of the public service of the post-apartheid era?
Chairperson, we were a generation of activists who had participated in the struggle for the liberation of this country. We went into government to serve the people. We shared a common commitment to democracy, ethical governance transformation. We also shared a very close comradeship among ourselves. We were in contact discussing our concerns about what was happening in government at the time. There was never an intention to exclude anybody, but it was because we knew each other very well. We shared a common vision, and that is why we decided to come together. There was a time when the number of DGs who signed the document could have increased to include other individuals who may not have been part of those organizations. But in the interest of time, we decided to proceed with those who had already indicated their willingness to sign the document.
I will skip the paragraph that follow, but ask you to confirm whether or not that is part of the memorandum. Do you confirm that?
Please repeat the question.
I don't want you to read it. Look at paragraph, the paragraph that follows.
Oh, the next paragraph.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the one thereafter which starts with in pursuit. And the only comment I'd like you to make is to invite you that to confirm that that is part and parcel of what you communicated.
I do confirm that, Chairperson.
And the next one that I'd like you to read into the record is the one that starts with "we submit." Do you see that?
I see that, Chairperson. The paragraph reads as follows: "We submit this memorandum to express our collective concern at recent revelations of state capture by the Gupta family, their apparent influence over political and administrative appointments, and their involvement in the irregular facilitation, securing, and issuing of government tenders and contracts. We also express our concern at the effect of the recent Constitutional Court judgment in the Nkandla matter on the legitimacy of the state and its ability to focus resources and efforts on delivering services to our people, growing the economy, and achieving our transformatory and developmental goals."
Mr. Maseko, that's a mouthful.
I believe it is, yes.
Can I invite you just at the general high level to indicate to the chairperson what were the matters of collective concern at that point in time relating to the Gupta family that caused you to submit this memorandum to those members of the National Executive you identified at a very high level of generality? We will come back to specific matters relating to you concerning the Gupta family.
Chairperson, as I recall, at the time, there were a lot of media reports about incidents of corruption, incidents of the involvement of the Gupta family in trying to unduly influence procurement decisions in government, influence appointments in national departments, state-owned enterprises, and some of the individuals, without referring to any specific names, some of the individuals that agreed to sign this memorandum were also able to share with the group their own experiences with the Gupta family. I might add, Chairperson, that at that particular point in time, there were also very clear indications that, in fact, a number of senior government officials who were still in the service were complaining to some of the people who signed this memorandum about the extent to which procurement processes in government were being undermined, and that they found themselves in a very difficult position because when procurement processes are not being followed, they as accounting officers could be held accountable for that, and yet they were experiencing undue pressure even from their political principals. However, many of those individuals were reluctant to attach their names to this document for fear of losing their jobs, for fear of reprisals. So that's basically what that paragraph was trying to capture.
Yes. Thank you, Chair. Mr. Maseko, I'm going to move the